welcome to Chemist in the Kitchen. This is episode 3. So today we're going to be covering baked tofu. But before we do that, let's just recap a little bit of what we've covered in the last couple episodes. We started off with talking about asparagus, some soy meat before, it's called Beyond Meat, and then cooking some salsa to make sure we avoid using some store-bought sauces, and also a little bit of capsaicin in there. So today, baked tofu. So over here we have a couple things prepared for us we're going to cook today. This is really based on, look how much this is. This is my food for the weekend. This really makes it possible for me to meal prep. So making sure that I have enough food to eat for an entire day, every single day. That helps me avoid snacking unnecessarily, and also helps me stay on track of when I need to eat. So we're going to be making food for my entire weekend. We have baked tofu, or we have tofu here. This is sprouted tofu. So sprouted tofu means just from sprouted soybeans. And then we cut them. There's 2 big portions here. So we cut them into like a little bit less than half an inch, just so that they can bake well. And then over here we have a little concoction that we brewed up. We have, notice how there's only just a little bit in there, but we're just going to be sprinkling it on here to make sure it doesn't get too soggy. But we have some black pepper in there, some rosemary and some cayenne pepper, and a little bit of garlic, some garlic out here, and then some lemon that we're going to put on top of the tofu. So we can get that prepared. And while I do that, we can just put these down here. So we're going to be baking it. And also, we're going to be, the other parts of this meal. So if you guys remember, we have 1/3 protein, which is going to be this, and then 2/3 complex carbs. So we'll have, if you notice back there, we have some spinach and some kale. And then up here, we have some quinoa. So that makes a really good meal. Let's just put this on top. So it'll be covering the top half. Also, the thinner you cut it, you do, number one, get more, a little bit crispier, but also that is because there's more surface area that can be covered by the heat, which is kind of cool. And you can notice, for vegetarians at least, tofu is one of the most permeable of the protein sources, meaning that you can, more of it soaks through. So it's the preferred one for chefs and most restaurants, just so you can actually taste the flavor, because naturally it has no flavor. So let's just put this on a little bit, flip it over, let it soak a little bit, put it in there, let it soak. Put a lot of cayenne pepper in it today, of course, love it spicy. Okay, and then we're going to be putting it into the oven. So before we do that, okay, so while we put it into the oven, we're going to be talking a little bit about the high temperatures of cooking. So if you look at it closely, there's you can see it soaking in there. But also, when you cook something that's light in color, like tofu is, it's very sensitive to the heat. So what happens is any temperatures higher than 400 degrees Fahrenheit uses a form of infrared light waves. So we're not just using hot air or steam, we're using infrared light. So we're going to be cooking it at 350, but I'm just going to explain a little bit of why we want to keep it under 400. So when light colored food reflects infrared waves, it absorbs about 10% of the waves off, and it only heats like slowly until the food starts to heat up enough to begin to turn brown. So when it turns brown, that's when it snaps and it starts to burn very quick. So it becomes like a very quick cycle of absorbing and burning really quickly. So it burns very easily. And so that's why we're cooking it at 350 degrees. And this is because of the Maillard reaction. So we want to make sure it's above 285 degrees, because that's the temperature at which food and color changes. Like, so you'll actually taste the flavor of the food above 285. So while we're putting this in here, see, oh, the big oven. It's at 350 degrees up here. You can see it on this. And we're going to keep it in there for about 30 minutes. At about the 20-minute mark, we're going to flip it over so we get both sides of the tofu cooked. Alright, we'll see it at the end. Okay, so it's been a full 30 minutes. At about the 20-minute mark, we flipped it. So we can take it out now. Let's go on in. Ooh, my glass is all fogged up. Okay, so, oh my god, it smells delicious. You can smell the rosemary. So let's just take these out. Let's grab this. They're really firm but still soft. Oh, good. So in 4 ounces of sprouted tofu, it's about 107 calories and 12 grams of protein. So it's really, really good. And this is put with quinoa and some spinach for a perfect meal. And then with some Herbalife green tea concentrate to drink, burn 80 calories every serving. This is a perfect meal. Alright, so that wraps up Chemist in the Kitchen episode 3. We talked a lot about heat today. So in baking the tofu, it really translates to most food that are light in color. We want to make sure we stay below 400 degrees so we avoid the quick burn of the food, and make sure we stay above 285. So the perfect temperature for this is about 350. And then also stay tuned for next week's episode, episode 4, and we'll see you next week. Hot air.